What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be watching this video right here. It's called How Lifting Weights Helps Me Learn Languages. Now, as you guys know, I'm on a little bit of a health journey, so I figured this should be a great video for me. It covers fitness and it covers languages. At least I assume it does based on the title. What are you doing? Oh, no. No, how many times? God damn it. We agreed to this. We agreed that we would do this together, but Elmo has just been the worst goddamn influence on my life. Anyway, let's begin.
If you are currently learning a language and not lifting weights, you're actually leaving language learning related progress on the table, and I'm going to be explaining to you why that is in this video. If you're
Guess I already failed. I ain't lifting no weights unless the weight counts as the remains of what remains of my belly. Although I'm hoping that those weights drop over the coming months.
currently lifting weights and learning a language, then I'm also going to be explaining to you how to optimize that process, okay?
Okay.
So what's my source? Why would you trust me? Tin tao thì mình có thể hiểu và nói tiếng Việt.
I'm not laughing at your language ability, bro. It's just, you did that. Like, you showed the muscles and then you started speaking. But, like, I looked at the muscles first and then I heard, Tankahi, and I was like I thought I was wigging out.
Và mình cũng có bắp, right?
That was fucking sick. That was a great intro. Fucking loved it.
Okay. I'm going to be splitting this up into short-term benefits and long-term benefits of weightlifting in its relation to language learning. So the first short-term benefit is going to be the energy boost that you get from the workout. Okay, so before, people believed that working out actually just flat out decreased your energy because you're expending energy during the workout, but it's now well documented and scientifically proven that working out actually, like, even in the short term, increases the amount of energy that you have right after the workout. And this is because your body releases neurochemicals in order to support you during the workout, such as adrenaline, and those neurochemicals stay active in your body after the workout is already over. So immediately after the workout, if you hit a study session, you're going to perform better in a lot of cases, right? And so I use this all the time before, like, especially if I'm really not feeling the language learning session, what I'll do is I'll go hit the gym first. And then after the gym, I got like the adrenaline kind of flowing, my blood is pumping, and I'm able to get a really good session in that I wouldn't have had before, right? And so this leads me into the second point, which is the concept of momentum, right? So you often hear this advice online of like, make your bed every morning, right? I'm looking at my bed right now. It's not made, okay? I don't follow the
Yeah, mine's not made either. It's okay.
advice, right? But the whole concept behind the making your bed is that your brain really feeds off of momentum, right? So by doing one small thing, by having one small win, it makes the next slightly bigger win easier. And you kind of snowball your way into having like a victorious, productive day by initially stacking a lot of small wins and then compounding that into larger wins, right?
Okay, I'm going to segue a little bit here because, like, every time I hear someone say, you make your bed type of thing, I know, like, it comes from a good place. But I have a background in the military, okay? And that's how they would torture you when you're going through your basic training, is they would make you make your bed, okay? You'll make your bed, you'll do these perfect little hospital folds and stuff, and you think it's perfectly fine. And then your sergeant or corporal or whoever will come in, he'll do like an inspection of the bed, and there'll be like one tiny little crinkle somewhere, and then he'll just tear the whole fucking bed apart, throw your pillows across the room and say, do it again and do it better! And then you'll be like, and you'll be back at it again. And it's just like, every time I think about making a bed, it just takes me down a dark hole, So let's not do that.
And so the gym, even if it's like a very small workout, and sometimes I'll literally just hit a 20-minute workout, right? It doesn't take that much discipline to hit like a 20-minute workout. You can literally just get out of bed, do 50 push-ups, 50 squats, 50 sit-ups, something like that. Literally anything, right? You could have a pull-up bar next to your room and just start hitting it, right? But
Well, I'm actually starting my days now. I have been for the last probably a week and a half. I start them by immediately doing some yoga in the morning. And the reason I'm doing yoga is because I'm just trying to become a lot more flexible. I have a lot of issues where over the years, due to my back becoming very, very weak, I've lost a lot of flexibility and so many different places that I didn't know I lost it in. So I've been doing that. And then after that, I'll hit the back extension machine, which I've got over here. I'll rotate this so you guys can see it. So there you go. That's my back extension machine right over there. And after that, I also do like various exercises with my legs, but I do plan to actually build out this whole area that you can't see right here into an indoor gym. The reason being is because I want to become Giga Chad Deer. No, really, it's just I don't want to have to ever suffer pain again. So I want to become as like strong as I can.
Happens is that the points on the board that you get, the kind of like hit of dopamine that you get for successfully completing something difficult, more easily leads you into the next thing, right? And so, oftentimes I'll have seasons of my life where it kind of takes discipline for me to like get my language study, and sometimes I'm really not feeling it. And in those stretches of time, doing a workout before the study session just to get those points on the board really helps. And when you combine that with the previous thing I said, is not only are you getting momentum generated from doing productive things, but you're also getting some energy in your body. It's those two combined to make it really, really effective as a method of just getting you to even hit that really difficult study session, right?
You know, I actually do. This is not related to what he's talking about. This sounds great and everything, but it's talking about, you know, motivation and getting yourself started. I unintentionally did it, but I've trained myself that as soon as I get up in the morning, most people pull out their phone and, you know, start scrolling social media. I just do my Anki. Like, the entire Anki. It takes me probably somewhere, you know, between 10 and 30 minutes, depending on the type of decks I'm working on. At the moment, I expect it to grow drastically as I've started my Chinese channel, which for you guys, if you don't know, you didn't see my last video, I actually launched a Chinese channel. I'll put a link down below in the description and pinned comment. And by the way, I'll link to this guy as well, so go check out his channel and sub to the channel, because I am doing a react to his video. But yeah, I've just kind of inadvertently trained myself to just do Anki in the morning. I kind of feel like I'm naked if I haven't. But he uses the workout. So all you got to do is put yourself into a routine, I guess.
Even if you're not doing difficult study sessions, sometimes just immersion there can be friction to there, because when you're doing language immersion, it's more difficult than watching content in your native language, right? So in times when you would be tempted to watch something in your native language, hit the gym first, and then I find that there's less friction, even in terms of not even just studying, but just watching content. So I went over how you can use lift.
That's an interesting observation. I would have assumed that if I did a hard workout afterwards, I would probably be less attentive. But I guess he's saying, you know, the opposite happens. I guess I'll have to test this out once I actually start with my own little home gym and everything here. So I don't know if this is true or not.
Thing as a tool before you study, but I more often actually use this as a tool during my study session. So I'll give you an example. Literally this morning, I was studying languages for about an hour and a half. And after that, I was really like I was just exhausted. I was done, right? I couldn't go any longer. So what I did was I just drove over to the gym, hit a quick 30-minute workout. And after that, it was basically like I had just woken up again. I literally felt 100% refreshed, right? And this is because alternating like mental and physical activity is really good, and they actually complement each other. So when you're done with physical activity, as I mentioned, your energy goes up, you're able to better focus on mental activity. When you strain yourself mentally, you're often like sitting down kind of stationary. And so you build up your muscles are resting, they're not active. And so you're able to let out a lot of physical energy afterwards. So like alternating mental and physical activity is really, really effective, right? And so
I can see how this is true, especially like I used to get up in the morning. Actually, I should probably start doing this again. I would get up in the morning and I would go for a walk, and that's when I would also do my Anki. It's only recently since I moved into the new house that I just do it, you know, as soon as I wake up. But yeah, going for a walk and also doing Anki, or even doing anything at all, you're actually more focused because you're physically active. When you're in like that slouch potato mode, it's kind of easier to just like tune out of things. But if you're doing something, and this is different to what he's talking about, you know, he's talking about, you know, do the exercise, then afterwards you'll be in a more awakened state. But you could also do it just during a simple walk as well, and you're in more of an awakened state there as well.
So I often use this all the time, and that's how I'm able to double my study time, right? Where if normally it would just be like an hour and a half I'm able to study an hour and a half, hit a workout, and then go right into another hour and a half of study. So super effective tactic if you haven't done that already. And you can even do this on like a super micro scale. So like if you're, let's just say, reading a book for 20 minutes and you start to feel your focus kind of leaving you. I've done this before. Literally just pick one exercise. You can have a pull-up bar on your door. Go in your room, hit 10 pull-ups, and then come back, and then magically you'll just focus a little bit better. Actually, this is so true. This is also something that would happen in the military. Whenever you had those
really boring fucking speeches about something or some type of training or something, everyone would be sitting there in the room listening to the guy droning on at the front of the room. And if anyone looked like they were about to pass out, there'd be a corporal standing at the front of the room, and he would just point at it and he'd go, "You 50 push-ups now!" And you'd be like, "Oh shit!" And you'd get down there and you'd smash them out. You're already tired, okay? But when you woke up, well, obviously you're going to wake up doing 50 push-ups. You sit down, you're awake for at least a good 30 seconds, okay? Because your whole body's pumping. But I'm not sure how long it actually endured for if you were really not focused or you really did not like the topic. Because I remember several times there were some topics where I would end up doing push-ups multiple times during the session. Maybe I just fucking love push-ups. I haven't done them in a while.
The blood's pumping. Your brain was able to kind of get your mind off it for a little while, because when you're doing a workout, your brain isn't capable of like stressing about like work or studying like literally during the set, right? It's impossible. Your brain power is focused on just lifting the weight, getting your chin above the bar, etc., whatever it may be. And I've even had days where I've been like really dragging my feet on the studying, and the only thing that gets me through like the 2-hour study session is literally hitting like some kind of exercise every 20 minutes, right? And so if you have not tried that tactic yet, I would highly recommend trying it. And the beautiful thing about this, by the way, is that it's straight productivity, right? Because you're using exercise as your break, right? So imagine that. Imagine taking breaks as exercise. It's this double wall of productivity, and you feel so good doing it, and you just get this snowball effect. It's just, I could go on forever. It's amazing. So I'd really recommend trying that out. All right. So
You know, something I did actually try a very long time ago, but I didn't continue doing it because, as I mentioned in other videos here, the gyms in Australia are quite expensive. But I had a recording of just words and sentences, and those sentences would play over and over. So when I was going to the gym, rather than like counting my sets type of thing, I would, I'd have this recording play 12 times. So this one sentence. So I'd hear it, I'd repeat it, then I'd lift the weight. Then I'd hear it, I'd repeat it, and I'd lift the weight type of thing. The only thing is, I always felt awkward because I was in a public gym, and you just saw this guy sitting in the chair going, "Mi volas mototikilin, mi volas mototikilin, mi volas mototikilin." It's just kind of strange, But if you're at home, who can critique you? Except that guy.
Finally, what about hitting the gym after your study session? So if you don't want to do like multiple like back-to-back study sessions, you really only are interested in like one hour long study session, what would you get from hitting the gym after that, right? Specifically for language learning, this is really good because often I find that I can't just listen to things, like just sit down and listen to content. And especially if I've just done a study session, I often don't want to watch content and get immersion off the back of that. I'll often just want to do something else when I'm done sitting down and studying, right? And so the beautiful thing about this is that you can do like flashcard review, like SRS, Anki, for an hour, or maybe like you're reading an article or something for an hour, something very intensive. And then when you're done with that, you can listen to that same article while hitting the gym, and it occupies your physical body while giving you like the ability to listen, right? And
that makes sense. I guess you could also sentence mine a video. So if you're learning English, you could sentence mine him, and then afterwards just re-listen to the video.
That's what's really good. So I do this all the time. I will do like my Anki flashcard reviews for like an hour. So an hour of just straight flashcard reviews. My brain is fried. And then I don't even want to hit any more studying after that. Maybe I'm busy after that, right? But I still hit the gym and I'm able to listen to the content that I got the cards from in the first place, which is able to help me really bake in what I just learned. And a lot of it is even subconscious, right? Because when you're at the gym, you're not paying full attention to the content, obviously, right? But you're kind of just letting the words that you just studied wash over you. And I found that my retention actually does increase when I do this. So those are like the short-term use cases for the gym. But really like the most important part of this is the long-term benefits that you get from like this whole process of lifting and learning languages.
Okay, there's one thing I want to say. Maybe he'll mention it later on, but I feel like I want to say it right now because it's something I've thought about quite a bit over the years, but I've never really, I always thought I was fit enough, okay? That I didn't really need to push it any further, but obviously recent events have shown me that's not true. But it's the fact that your brain is an organ, okay? It's sitting in your head, obviously. I hope it is sitting in your head, right, boys? Okay, so like, it is reliant on your body. So if your body is in a shit state, then obviously your brain has to operate within the confines of your body, which means that you're not giving it the best environment in which to operate. Which brings me back to, there was a quote, I can't remember it, but like, It's something about, the person who truly masters their mind also masters their body. So you need to really like get good at both, and that second half, that mastering the body, has been the thing that I've really let down over the last 10 years or so. And I think it's probably due to the fact that when I was in the military, it was a given. Like, my body was good. Everything was good. Like, I was strong. I had energy all the time. And then after I left, I just assumed that that would continue on, like every young guy does. And then I just kind of let it fall by its wayside over the next 10 to 15 years. And now I'm suffering the results of that. But realistically, I think that's probably, for me personally, one of the biggest takeaways is that the more healthy I get, the more I feel that I'm capable to learn. Like, I'm able to dedicate more of my energy and time towards this. And I'm already a freaking, like, a focus nerd. I can really focus on things. But the better my body gets, the better I get overall. Like, my brain capabilities, I guess. I don't know, there's probably a technical word for all this shit, but you guys probably know what I'm saying.
And all that stuff, right? And so number one is that when you go to the gym, your capacity to do literally everything increases. And I mean this, like, it's scientifically documented at this point that like strength training in particular literally increases all of your positive metrics and decreases all of your negative ones. And the more you look into it, the crazier it gets, right? So it improves your sleep quality, which obviously improves everything else. It improves your ability to focus. It improves your energy levels. It improves your confidence. It improves your looks. Like, literally every metric you can think of, strength training improves, right? And so think about the exponential increase that you'll get when you have, like, if you're, let's just say, not lifting at all, right? Imagine you start lifting and now you have this increased amount of total daily energy that you have, right? You have this increased...
This is such a stupid joke, but I was just going to say, does lifting give me that hairline? Because I want your fucking hairline, bro.
amount of ability to focus. You have this increased brain capacity. You have this increased ability to sleep well, which increases everything else. It just becomes this exponential effect that gets added onto you. And
yeah, well, that's a really good point. If it will improve your sleep, you'll have deeper sleep. If you have deeper sleep, you'll retain more of what you learned during the day. Then you'll wake in a more awakened state, and then you'll be able to focus more. So it's like, it's all a run-on effect. I've known about this for quite a long time, but it's one of those things where it's just like, you know about it, but you don't action it. And now I'm actioning it.
And literally will turn you from like a normal person into a superhuman. Like, the difference in like the brain and functionality of people who lift versus people who don't is literally like night and day. And if you look into this, you'll really start to learn more, and it'll blow your mind, honestly.
Okay, there's one thing I want to say, okay? So we've also seen in the language learning space a bunch of, those alpha male fucking Giga Chad type guys, wannabes, coming in, or at least pre-existing ones pretending that they are. They've got all the muscles and shit and talking about how, you can get the girls of all the languages and stuff. And I always laugh at that shit. But this is where I can see a real massive benefit. Improve your physical health. It improves your awakened state. This is what we should be promoting, okay? So a guy out here, he's saying, hey, do this for your health and also to improve your languages. This is what we should do it for. That's what I believe we should do it for. Those other things, it's like, I feel those are kind of very surface level. They don't really lead to much in the long term.
But the more I look into it, the more I realize just how much strength training really just affects everything else. It's crazy. So number one, long-term benefit is your literally like all of your stats increase, okay? Number two is that this will snowball with your diet. I often find, and I'm not alone here, when I'm not strength training, my diet kind of slides. Like, whenever I take a break from the gym, I kind of take a break on eating healthy a lot of the time, right? Not always, but a lot of the time I'm more likely to order takeout if I haven't been to the gym that day.
I guess that's just the fail effect. Like when you do one thing and it's part of like a greater plan, and if you fail at that one aspect of the plan, then you kind of has like a knock-on fail effect where you're like, oh, I've already failed at this, I might as well give up on that and that and that. So I can kind of see how that works. Like, you got to have all the components together.
Right. And so by being in the gym, you increase your adherence to eating healthy, and you increase your just your overall healthy lifestyle increases, and your likelihood to choose healthy foods increases, right? And how does that affect language learning? Because so much of language learning is dependent on the focus that you bring, okay? A lot of people say that language acquisition is quantity of input times focus, right? And so focus is a really huge factor. And if you really want to increase your focus, it really just comes down to diet, right? Like, are you eating processed foods sugars, alcohol, etc. Right? And so I find it, especially as like a young dude, it's kind of hard to like have the motivation to do all this like healthy eating if
I've been making jokes with Elmo here the whole time, but I do have this packet of Smith's chips sitting here, okay? Now, you might be thinking, Evildea, you're not seem to be doing your diet so much. Actually, these have been with me now for about a month, okay? And I just leave them here. And the reason being is because it's almost like a test to myself to see if I'm just going to like break it and go for it. And I know that's a terrible thing because I actually read somewhere that you should remove these things from your environment because otherwise you're more inclined to eat them. But I kind of feeling it like it's almost a psychological training of just leaving the chips sitting there, okay? And they just stare at me and I just stare at them. And the longer I can resist and, you know, forget about them, then the easier it becomes when I'm accidentally surrounded by all this shit. Like right now, I got no desire to eat this shit. Like, it's not even really that appealing to me. But it's been here this whole time, and I'm just gonna leave it there because I used to smash this shit.
you're not like physically gaining muscle from it, right? And so if you have not, like if you've tried dieting without strength training, and if you've tried dieting specifically to increase your focus, but you're not adhering to that diet, then strength training really does help. The final thing is just an overall confidence boost. This will help you just be more confident when you're speaking the language. And I personally, like, I've been open about this a lot on these videos. I'm really like unconfident when it comes to just like speaking foreign languages to people in general. I don't know why. Like, I wouldn't even be nervous if I had to give a presentation in front of hundreds of people or anything like that. But if I had to like go up to somebody and speak to them in Vietnamese, even though like
I'm pausing not to comment on anything he's just said, but he said, I'm very unconfident. I feel like that's a made-up word. Shit, it's an actual word. Yeah, I would say not confident. Ah, man, I was hoping this would be another Evildea YouTuber, you know, fucking up his English, but no, I'm the shit human.
I'm good enough to do that. I just get so nervous. I don't know why. And so the confidence boost that comes with, you know, being in the gym definitely, I believe, helps me out a lot and really helps like mitigate that. So yeah, that's it. That's your daily dose of motivation right there.
Okay, that was an excellent video. I will put a link down in the description, as I said earlier. Go check him out, sub to his channel, do all that good shit. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you guys are gym junkies, as well as, you know, learning languages, let me know down in the comments below. And give me your secrets, like certain things that you've tried out that you found really interesting, because I'm always open to exploring new ways, especially now to use both exercise and languages together. And I'll see you all in the next video. And if you're not there, well, you see this packet of chips, okay? You will become the packet of chips. I will tie you up in the corner of the room and I will leave you as a temptation. I don't know what kind of temptation. I'll leave that up to your imagination. But one day, my will crack and you will be snacked upon.